Okay, let's do some yoga. So let's start in tabletop. Shoulders stacked over wrist, hips stacked over your knees. And then when you inhale, let your belly drop and your chest drop, and then look up. Exhale, tuck your tailbone, press your chest away from the ground, and tuck your chin. Inhale. Exhale. And do a few of these on your own. And I think it's worth it to articulate the breath with the movement. So like when you inhale, at the top of your inhale, be at the deepest part of the pose. Exhale. And then try doing circles to the side. So, pressing your rib cage out to the left, dropping it and swinging around, going up to the right. Do it a few times in each direction. Get experimental. Oh. And then let's come to standing at the top of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms up above. Exhale, forward fold. Belly button towards thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, keeping long in the back of the neck. Exhale, step or hop back to a plank. Inhale here for one breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Or you can drop your knees and maybe come down to a cobra, bend your elbows here. And we'll just kind of swivel our hips left and right, loosening up through the psoas line. Maybe you can look over each shoulder. And then exhale, press back into downward facing dog. And be heavy in the heels and wrap your triceps in towards each other. So kind of shining the inner elbow towards the top of the mat. And breathe here. And maybe you could pedal the legs a little bit. Loosen up in the back of the knees. And on your next inhale, get long. Exhale, step or hop towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, back to the beginning. Again. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop back into plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And we're gonna breathe here. So what I like to do is visualize the breath with each inhale and exhale. And on your inhale, visualize the breath rising from the arches of the feet, up the legs, through the torso and into the center of your chest. And then exhale it out through the top of your head and down through your arms into the mat. And then inhale, get long. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, back to the beginning. And now Surya Namaskar B. So free breath, your inhale. Exhale, bend down, touch your fingers on the mat. Keep your knees bent and then inhale, reach up above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot in between the hands and then come down. Exhale, inhale, reach your arms up above your head and drop into your hips. Exhale, frame the foot with your hands, step back into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get long. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands and drop the back knee. Inhale, reach above your head, dropping into the hips. Exhale, back down and back into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get long. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then bend your knees deeply. Inhale, come up to chair pose. Exhale, back to the beginning. Again, on your next exhale, bend down and touch your fingers. Inhale, staying bent on those knees, go up to chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, go back to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get long. Exhale, step the right foot in between the hands and drop that back knee. And then inhale, reach above your head. Exhale, frame that foot with those hands and come back into a plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get length. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands Drop the back knee. Inhale, reach your arms up above your head. Exhale, frame that foot with your hands. Step back into a plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And maybe you can experiment with doing little shoulder rolls. And making sure there's no tension in the neck. Kind of letting your head hang freely. Pedaling the legs maybe. Oh. Doing what feels good here. And then inhale, get long. Exhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to chair. Exhale, back to the beginning. Whew. Okay, free breath here. And then on your next exhale, touch your fingers to the ground. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come back into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get long. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands. And then we're going to angle that back foot and come up into our warrior two. So we want to drop our shoulders away from our neck, and we want to square our chest with the side of the mat, and then kind of lunge into that front knee a little bit, while also engaging our external rotators. So almost trying to engage the musculature around our tailbone as we sit here and breathe. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up and back behind you, creating a straight line. And then exhale, bend that front knee again. And with every inhale, create length on the top side of the body. And exhale, lunge deeper. And then exhale, come back down, frame that foot with those hands, step back into plank. Inhale here, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get length. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. Drop that back foot at an angle, and then come up for warrior two on the second side. Another good cue for this position is to engage the core so that your ribs are not flaring up or poking out, kind of, I don't know if you can see it from the angle, but not arching like this, but keeping them tucked in. So just engaging the musculature in the belly to ensure that your ribs aren't flaring. And then inhale, straighten that front leg, reach up with the left hand. Exhale, and bend that front knee. Inhale, get long. Exhale, keep getting deeper into that bend. And then exhale, come back down, frame that front foot with those hands. Come into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Your next inhale, get length. Exhale, step that right foot in between the hands. And this is where it might be handy to have a block or something to hold your hands on, maybe about yay height, or you're comfortable with. You don't even have to have your legs straight. You can have your knee bent like this. But square those hips with the floor, so letting your left hip sort of drop to where it's parallel with the right. And breathe here, staying long in the back of the spine, reaching your crown forward. And exhale, stepping, or kind of coming up and swinging that left foot through. And then we're going to try tree pose here. I haven't done this in a long time, so let's see how this goes. And you can bring it up here if possible, or you can rest it around the knee, whatever area is possible. Be careful on that knee though. Try to internally rotate those hips by pressing your weight into the mound of the big toe. And if you can, reach up. Mitigating the rib flare by engaging your core. And then exhale, drop that left leg again, keep it raised above the ground though, and then lean forward, bring your arms out to a T, really engage the muscles in the feet to get balance here, and then reach that back foot back as far as possible and your crown as far forward as possible, having length in the back of the neck here, and just breathe. And then inhale, touch your hands, exhale, come back down, inhale here, exhale, chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog, inhale, get long, exhale, step the left foot in between your hands, and then come up. Feel free to bend that knee as much as you need, but I want you to focus on squaring those hips with the floor, not letting your right hip kind of turn up and above the left. And then exhale, come through. Let's bring the right foot in for tree pose. And if you're not used to doing single leg balancing poses, you will find like the lower calves and your feet are just could be on fire sometimes. And mine still do. It's tough, but it's so good for your feet and so good for feeling grounded. And the more you do poses like this, the more connected to the earth you'll feel. Like I kind of feel like Spider-Man sometimes. Like I'm 2% more likely to be able to grip the ceiling with my feet and not fall. If that makes sense. It doesn't, but that's just how I feel. And then exhale. Let that right leg drop and then come back. Bring his arms out to a T. Lengthen the back of the neck. And breathe. Inhale, touch your hands. Exhale, come back down. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get length. Exhale, step forward, and then let's come down onto our butt. And then we're gonna bring our the sole of our right foot into the inner left thigh. Pull back on your toes on the top of your foot so your ankle is doing dorsiflexion. Inhale, turn your torso towards that left leg. And then exhale, keeping long in the spine. Bend forward and grab wherever you can. Maybe it's right here. Maybe you can only straighten out this much. Or maybe you can go a little bit deeper and clasp the hands. It doesn't matter. Where you are is fine. Inhale, come up and straighten that right leg. Bend the left leg, bring it in towards the right thigh. Inhale, get length, rotate towards the right leg. Exhale, forward fold, and breathe. Inhale, come up. And then let's bring our feet in for a butterfly stretch. So you can either stay here, and if this is how as far as your hips allow you to go, maybe, that's fine. But if you can go deeper, maybe you could bring your chest towards your feet. Maybe you can get onto the feet, reach the hands back, and breathe here. Wherever you are is fine. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll over those legs, come back into a plank. Inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get length. Exhale, come to sitting. And then we're going to just do a seated forward fold here. And come up, and now let's bend this right knee, and then inhale, reach the left arm up and twist towards the right. Exhale, pin the back of the left elbow into the side of the right knee, and then look over your right shoulder. Every inhale, lengthening, and every exhale, twisting just a little bit deeper. And sometimes it's tough to feel into this one a lot, but if you kind of engage your core, so like kind of suck your belly into the back of the spine, it kind of helps me go a little bit deeper and be aware of the muscles that this pose is targeting. Inhale, look forward, and released. Bend that left knee in. Inhale, reach your right arm up, and exhale, twist towards your left, pinning that right elbow on the outside of the left knee, and twist. Every inhale, getting long, creating length throughout the spine. Exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. And maybe engaging your external rotators in that left arm, that foundation arm, so that if your chest is collapsing, if it's internally rotated and you're twisting kind of like this, maybe externally rotating that shoulder will create more height and more space for that little tender spot between our anterior delt and our chest. Inhale, look forward, and release. Oh, and now we're going to come to our belly, and we're going to do a prone chest stretch. Chaturanga on the way down if you want. Extra brownie points. And then we're going to bring our left arm out. Create length. Like let that shoulder really settle for a second. And then we're gonna press our right hand. Take our right foot over the top of our left leg and reach here. And you might not be able to get that far, especially if your chest and your hips are tight. But what helps me is almost actively pressing the left arm and chest and like kind of resisting a little bit, actively engaging that left arm, and then also being conscious to try to feel and relax into the top hip. So the right hip here should be relaxing and lengthening. And then you might, if you're not feeling it, you can just play around with moving your, maybe having less bend in the arm, maybe moving it up and down, playing your elbow somewhere else, but just see what feels right for you. And this stretch isn't for everyone. Sometimes it's a little confusing. And then let's come down and we're going to switch sides. And press that left hand in, reach the left leg over the right, and roll onto that right shoulder. Relaxing into the left leg. And what helps me relax the left hip is feeling into the pinky toe side of my foot. Just the conscious awareness of that, the side of my foot, allows me to like relax into my hip, whatever nerve connection's there or something. Pretty interesting. And come back to center, and then press up and back into tabletop, and transition into child's pose. Letting your body just melt. And then come forward, come back into plank, then we're going to do one last vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, get length. Exhale, step, hop, come through in whatever way you can. And then turn around. Lay back down, feet wider than hips, hands wider than feet, palms facing up. Get length in the back of the neck if you need to. Maybe scoot your butt a little bit forward if there's an excessive arch in the lower back. And breathe here. Relax. Drop all effort, all technique, and just sink. And stay here for a couple minutes. Close your eyes. And I'm going to read a little quote from Rumi. Last night I begged the wise one to tell me the secret of the world. Gently, Gently he whispered, "Be quiet. The secret cannot be spoken. It is wrapped in silence." Boom. Oh, feel free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like. Come out anytime.